Speaking of Ron DeSantis versus Donald Trump, Fox News and Fox and Friends specifically continues to sort of take this approach of softly and subtly pointing more in the direction of DeSantis than Donald Trump. I'm going to play for you. This is a couple minutes long, but it's worth looking at this in its totality. I'm going to play for you a couple minute segment from this morning's Fox and Friends, in which Steve Doocy, Ainsley Earhart, and Brian Kilmeade, I'm reminding myself of their names as I look at them here, spend a couple of minutes with sort of erratic word salads, really unclear what the direction of this segment was. It was about polling. It was about these different things. But eventually they get to another subtle push towards DeSantis and away from Trump. And the one they come up with today is Biden would rather run against Trump than DeSantis. Or put a different way, the way Brian Kilmeade puts it is Biden is more scared of DeSantis than he would be of Trump. And it's another way to subtly suggest, as Fox News has increasingly been doing, subtly, they're not abandoning Trump, but they're subtly pointing to DeSantis. DeSantis would be the stronger candidate because Biden would rather run against Trump. Let's really dig into this because there's a lot here.
I understand that people want to dismiss bad polls, but his response yesterday to Judy Woodruff was, yeah, 50 people on a cell phone saying they're unhappy about the direction of the country. We don't really care about that. Okay, if your polls were good, if they were fine, you'd be like, the polls show people improve of the economy. What he's referring to, the fact is that most people say 50% in the Glass Gallup poll, 50% say they are worse off this year than last year. Right. And 70% believe that we're heading in the wrong direction.
2/3 of the country say they're living paycheck to paycheck. Inflation is up, gas prices are up, and he claims
now understand that 2/3 of the country living paycheck to paycheck isn't a new thing. 4 years ago, I told you, and remember who was president then, that something like half of Americans would need to borrow money if they got hit with an unexpected $400 expense. A lot of this stuff isn't new. For a long time, many Americans have felt the country's going in the wrong direction, but you can see that they're sort of struggling to come up with a story. And eventually the story they shift to is Biden is more scared of DeSantis than he is of Trump.
They're down. They're up from where they were when he took office.
It's just crazy. And so the president is going to Tampa today. This is the second time in 2 months the president or the vice president have been down in Florida.
Why is that? Is it because DeSantis, they're worried about that? Or?
Could be senior communities, too.
Well, what they're trying to do is exactly, Ainsley, DeSantis, Democratic strategists expect the president to set the stage for a re-election and draw contrasts with Ron DeSantis. You know, he's drawn comparisons to Donald Trump in the past, but now it looks like, and you speaking of polls, you see these polls and Ron DeSantis is surging. It's like, okay, forget about Trump for right now. Let's go ahead and go down to where Ron DeSantis is and talk about
don't you
saving all this stuff.
Florida was a purple state, and now it's completely red. We saw that.
19 points. Ron DeSantis won in a landslide. So it'll be interesting to see.
Are they going down there to try to save Florida in their mind and bring it back?
Well, I think that he's got a message in the area that he feels as though is experiencing good economic times, number one. Number two, seniors. He wants to continue to harp on that inaccurate message that Republicans want to get rid of and sunset Medicare and Social Security. And I'll add something else. As good as Ron DeSantis is doing, even though he's getting a pack together and looks like he's going to run, Donald Trump's still beating him. In most polls. And in fact, I think he's a solid second, but Trump's still up front. And I just wonder on some level if President Biden rather have Trump than DeSantis.
Well,
so there it is. Would Biden prefer Trump rather than DeSantis? And so this is part of they have built an ejector seat, so to speak, so that if it comes to it that Donald Trump is not the nominee, they want to get away from Trump as quickly as possible, and they would rather move beyond Trump and go to DeSantis. But they can't just bail altogether because Trump indeed might be the nominee. And if Trump is the nominee, he might indeed be the president again, and Fox News doesn't want to lose access. But this is now like the 6th or 7th sort of segment that we've seen from Fox and Friends, where they're either doing the man on the street interviews where they happen to bump into all Republicans who want DeSantis over Trump, or they're talking about polling or whatever the case may be. They are continuing the subtle push away from Trump and towards DeSantis. What exactly their motivation is, some say it's because Rupert Murdoch personally really doesn't like Trump. Others say it's because they see the writing on the wall, or it would be better for them for this, that, the other thing. I don't really know what the answer is. I don't think it's completely clear, and it may be different for different people at Fox News. But they are setting themselves up to be right in there with a hypothetical DeSantis nominee or DeSantis administration, but they've got to play it safe. And so this is the sort of stuff that they're doing. What do you believe is Fox's motivation and endgame? Let me know, info@davidpakman.com, or leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. We'll take a very quick break and much more coming up after this.